What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Gooner channel, a channel 100% dedicated to the Arsenal, who, as we all know, are by far the greatest team the world has ever seen. And what a performance yesterday was. We didn't just beat West Ham, we ended them. At half-time, their fans were filing out of the stadium, couldn't get out of there quick enough. 4-0 at half-time, and the best was arguably still to come. And what a difference in the mood of our fan base from the end of 2023, where we had that bizarre defeat to West Ham at home, followed it up with a lacklustre, tired performance against Fulham, and then got beaten out of the FA Cup in the earliest round wearing that awful surrender kit to Liverpool. The mood was so bad. All you could see was people saying that we lacked the firepower, that we should have got a striker in the summer, that we weren't able to score goals. Arteta had taken us as far as he could, according to a large element of the fan base. And just the anger and the venom. The win against Liverpool lifted spirits to some degree, but of course, then we were immediately accused of over-celebrating. And this was supposed to show that we weren't really title contenders because we had this inferiority complex that we celebrated so heartily when we beat Liverpool. And going into the match yesterday, like all the games coming up will be, was a must-win game. And I was a little bit worried about it. I'm not going to lie. I was more concerned about the game at the London Stadium than I was about the home game against Liverpool. It's this time of the year with Man City picking up 3 points in the early kickoff against Everton. They didn't look convincing, but Erling Haaland was back. Then Liverpool, despite going a goal down, managed to overcome Burnley. We knew we had to win it, but we didn't just win it, we won it in style. And that, despite the fact that our squad is looking a little threadbare. I did a live before the game talking about the lineup, and I'd been hoping to see Mario Cozy-Dubry at least on the bench, and he wasn't. Emil Smith-Rowe wasn't. Zinchenko wasn't. Gabby Jesus, Fabio Vieira, Jurrien Timber, Thomas Partey, all out. And really the lineup he picked, I couldn't be overly critical of it, because finding out that Jorginho was not going to be able to play when he'd been the talisman of that victory against Liverpool gave you the feeling that maybe we were going to go back to that sort of late 2023 vibe. And the start of the game, if I'm honest, didn't really fill me with that much confidence either. We were missing chances, balls in the air that we weren't getting to. We looked about as comfortable in the air as a concrete glider. And when Declan Rice put that corner on Saliba's head to put us 1-0 up, I'd like to sit here and tell you that I was sure at that point, but I wasn't. Little bit after that, when Trossard's delightful ball over the top and Saka staying onside to run on the keeper, brought down in the penalty area, and suddenly my head started filling with all the thoughts from last year's visit to the London Stadium where he missed that penalty and we went on to concede a goal to basically, from 2-0 up, throw the game away. Began that mini blip of performances that basically cost us a title. At 2-0, I didn't have time to not be confident because before you knew it, Declan Rice had put a beautiful free kick on. Declan Rice finds Gabriel in the area, his goal for 3-0, and my confidence resurgent. Then Trossard, twisting Zuma in and out before putting a beautiful ball into the top right-hand corner. And at 4-0, with the West Ham fans filing out of the stadium, I don't think I've ever seen anything like that, or mass leaving the way they did, their own ground. I can understand, listen, if you're a West Ham fan, I can understand how disappointing it is. And the question is always going to be, well, West Ham dreadful or were Arsenal excellent? In this case, it is a bit of both. West Ham absolutely dreadful, didn't seem to be up for it at all. But the second half, if anything, got better with Saka turning Engard inside out before slotting it in the way you'd expect him to. So what they were thinking about. At 5-0, a great feeling. And then the coup de grace, Declan Rice scoring an outstanding goal from outside the area. 6-0, his muted celebration, perfect, given all the uproar about how much we celebrated beating Liverpool. And then a chance to rest players and even bring on Ethan Nwaneri. who looked really solid and comfortable. Apparently, according to Arteta, he had to bring him on because other Arsenal players on the bench were kind of whispering that he should come on. He talked about it in his press conference, saying that that's the kind of confidence the players have in him. Perhaps we'll see more of him. I'd still like to see Cozier Dubry. And if there is a criticism, and there probably are a couple in this game, it's the fact that when he brought Cedric on instead of Raul Walters, you do have to wonder why. We've seen everything we're going to see from Cedric. This is his last season for sure. And Raul Walters was on the bench. I mean, was he worried that we were going to go in 6-6? I have had criticisms of Arteta. I thought that he showed rotation in the lineup, but he kind of had to with all the players that were out and suddenly injured at the last minute. I think he played the best side he could have done. With the substitutions, I think he did a great job in resting the key players we're going to need for Burnley away and Porto next week, midweek. And then also, my main criticism of him is that he hasn't promoted any academy players. Well, we saw Ethan Nwaneri come on and he looked really composed, and all of these players are going to need a start. When I asked in the poll before the game, would you like to see Cozier Dubry come on? I had a lot of people saying to me, this game is too important. We're going to have to get used to this. If we are going to stay in this title race, and it's going to be difficult, then every match coming up is going to be similarly pressure-filled. Every game coming up is going to be a cup final. It's unlikely that Man City or Liverpool are going to throw away a lot of points. They do have to play each other, and of course we have that game at the Etihad. And whilst you don't make us favourites going to Man City, Everton played pretty well against them. They don't quite look like they're clicking, but we did yesterday. When you compare this to the mood at the end of the season with people complaining about the games that we lost to West Ham and Fulham, when you think about the criticisms of the Dubai trip, amongst the things they worked on in Dubai were Declan Rice taking free kicks and corners, especially from the right side, and that's working a treat. I think we can all agree. He talked about finishing. The players, though, they just look a little bit more energised. Saka could be coming back to the kind of form that we love in him, the reason we call him Star Boy. He's now at over 100 goal contributions in his first 200 games. Outstanding from him. And for all the discussion about whether he's good enough or world class, these young players who came out of nowhere last season to deliver a title challenge, and yes, it didn't go the way we wanted it to, but so many people last season were saying that if we didn't do it last season, we wouldn't be there or thereabouts. And of course, Liverpool are everybody's favourites, and everybody talking about the rejuvenated Jurgen Klopp swan song season. But for me, yesterday showed that we don't need a striker to score goals, that we have a good squad, that we have as good a first 11 as anyone, and on our day, we can be majestic. Yeah, West Ham were terrible. Of course, all the noise today from fans is that David Moyes has got to go. I'm sympathetic to that. I'm not trying to involve myself in West Ham. You do wonder, though, a manager that can deliver the first bit of silverware in 41 years and then look at the reality of the situation is they are in 8th place even after losing that game, and they are 4 points from safety in the Europa League. They still have things to play for. But it's modern football, isn't it? Fans' expectations are higher and higher, and ours about the worst for that. Our own fans so critical of Arteta and the players and the style and Edu and everything about the club. But yesterday it was absolutely brilliant to see the Arsenal fans getting to enjoy a game that much. When you think Arteta, a new manager, a rookie manager with nothing like the experience of Klopp or Guardiola, was able to deliver a season in which we scored more goals than we've ever done before. This season he's delivered our best away performance. We topped our Champions League group. We've got a winnable tie against Porto coming up. The future has gone from looking absolutely terrible to absolutely brilliant. But there has to be a note of caution in that. We have to, as fans, we have to be ready for this title running. There's bound to be disappointments on the way and missed opportunities and missed chances and errors. But there are for all the teams. We did what we had to do yesterday, and on Saturday we go again against Burnley. Every game is a cup final. If we get behind this team, it's the best chance we've got of living with these two massive clubs in a three-way title race that go all the way to the wire and could potentially see us lift the Premier League title for the first time in 20 years. My belief is back a little bit. I'm not saying I think we're going to win it, but I do feel that the question that came out of yesterday that's most bizarre for me is, are we in the title race? Yes, we are. Yes, we are in a title race, and you do have to take us seriously. When we beat teams, it seems like everybody's quick to say, well, those teams are not very good. Well, we beat Liverpool, we've beaten Palace, we beat Forest, and yesterday we beat West Ham, who, although they're going through a bad patch, it's nothing like as bad as we made them look yesterday. Now, I want to hear from you. Have you changed your opinion on Arteta at all? Or are you still sure he's not quite the right man, but you're just chuffed with yesterday's performance anyway? Are there some of you out there who aren't particularly happy with yesterday's performance and think we should have done more? I want to hear from you, if you exist. For me, it was everything I could have hoped for and more, and Declan Rice's finest performance in an Arsenal shirt. I'm sure there will be many more to come from him, but I think the standout moment for me was him celebrating with class. Because that's what he is, really. He's a classy individual who happens to be a fantastic footballer with a great engine. He was my man of the match. I want to know who yours was. I know that on the day Saka got it for the 2 goals that he scored. And brilliant to see him scoring again. But for me, there was just something about Declan Rice coming home. I know some of the West Ham fans booed him, but it was a minority. I think most people can see that he will be beloved of both teams. I'm really looking forward to the game against Burnley and the game Porto after that. We will have many more things to talk about till then. I want to hear from you in the comments, and I just want to say a massive thank you to all the subscribers who make this channel what it is. And your comments and your likes. If you haven't hit a like yet on this video, please do. And if you haven't subscribed yet, join in, get involved. So grateful to all of you that do. Until I see you again, be lucky. Lots of love.